2021 was viewed as a positive year for real estate here in India, particularly the residential space. And that's because the COVID-19 pandemic forced a lot of people to consider buying their own homes. And in fact, quite a few individuals decided to upgrade the homes that they were living in. And that's because people were spending a lot more time at home. What also helped was historically low interest rates, certain schemes that were meant to bolster demand that were launched by state governments, and also, in fact, quite a bit of unsold inventory in certain key pockets here in India. But some of those factors could be changing in 2022. To talk about this in more detail, I have with me Anshuman Magazine, who's the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, India, Southeast Asia, Middle East and Africa of CBRE. Thank you so much, Anshuman, for taking the time. And in fact, you've just released your report that is laying out the outlook for 2022. I want to focus on a few key areas. I want to start with the residential space. Could you give us a sense as to the various factors that you think are going to be at play? The interest rate cycle, for one, could be on the verge of changing because of high inflation. So how is residential looking in the various key pockets here in India?
The residential looking very positive, and you've already mentioned some of the key reasons. Interest rates, of course, playing a big part. But also what has happened is that the job market, at least in the major cities, is good. I would say, in fact, more than good. There is, in fact, talent. Salary levels are going up. If you look at some of the studies, the salary increments in India are on the higher side compared to many other even Asian countries. And so that is, would be one trigger for demand. And no doubt that the sentiment is positive. Property prices have gone up, but not gone up significantly. If you remember, the last time when the property prices went, when the sales went down in residential, one of the major reasons was that prices had gone up exponentially. So that is not happening this time. And I'm hoping the demand will continue. Yes, there is a threat of interest increasing, but it all depends how much that interest rate increase, mortgage rates would be. So far, it doesn't seem to be a major threat.
Okay. But there's also the factor of inflation. We'll come to that in just a bit. I want to understand the demand first. You've looked at data in quite a lot of detail for 2021. What is that telling you in terms of the kind of homes that are being bought, if you can splice it up for us between the affordable, the mid-segment and the high-end segment?
See, we can break it up, but the key sales have happened between the price range of 45 lakhs to 1 crore. This is across cities. That's the price range where the sales are happening, and for obvious reasons, because it really meets when you take a loan, it makes it more affordable for a lot of other people to buy in that range. A lot of the supply. The good part is, like again, when the market was at peak some years back, the supply in the so-called affordable segment was not enough. But since the market slowed down and now it's a recovery path since last year, the supply is also coming in that segment. So even that is helping, but that's where the demand is at right now.
Okay, so a couple of questions here. Because of the kind of experience that developers saw in 2021, they're anticipating that demand is still robust. Give us a sense of the launch pipeline that you're seeing in the major markets. And do you anticipate that this much, increase in inventory could put certain downward pressure on the prices, or do you see prices going up in accordance with what is happening in terms of input costs?
Many markets, including real estate market, is cyclical. There will be a time when the demand supply, like I said, if supply goes beyond demand, the prices will remain stable or may come down, but we are not there. As of no doubt, I would say overall land prices have gone up. In certain micro markets, the residential apartment prices have gone up. However, like I mentioned earlier, right now it is not the situation it was many years back where they went up exponentially, and which indirectly harmed the demand. So what I do expect is that supply will continue, which is good, which will hopefully ensure that the prices don't go up significantly, but go up enough for the people to have incentive to invest in real estate also, And it also depends on many things, like you mentioned, on in the interest rates going up. It also depends how much funding there is in the market, how long does the demand sustain.
Mm.
But so far, where we're in the market, at least for this year, I expect in 2022 demand to remain steady, and the supply also, the pipeline is fairly good. The other one interesting trend I want to quickly mention is, besides the apartments in the range of 45 to 1 CR, one trend we are seeing after which actually slowed down in between is plotted developments, which shows that a lot of people want to
Right.
buy a plot and build own houses, and it come back after quite some time, I must say.
Okay, so a couple of other questions on residential and then we'll move to commercial. Uh, is the trend of gravitating towards tried and tested developers still holding true? Is that building momentum, if at all? And what is your anticipation based on your interaction with real estate developers as to the increase in prices that could be taken in 2022 or perhaps in the near term?
There is no doubt that the developer's reputation is extremely, and the track record is extremely important for a buyer. Someone who has delivered, and hopefully delivered on time. In fact, to some extent, I would say even delivered, if not even on time, that itself, gives some comfort to people who are buying. So that is certainly important. As you know, besides the traditional developers, there are corporate developers who come into the game. But what is helping overall also for, and hopefully this is an encouragement for new developers to come in and get the confidence of the buyers, is RERA. And that RERA is definitely giving more comfort. The residential market is more regulated. So, but no doubt, like in any industry segment, reputation, there's no substitute, and that track record, there's no substitute. Sorry, I missed your second question. If you could please repeat what that was.
I was asking Anshuman with regard to the price increases that could be anticipated in the near to medium term based on your interactions with developers.
See, one area which was of concern was, of course, when the input costs for construction went up. So, and plus, if you add inflation on top, so there will be some natural price increase, which would be not the only function of demand and supply, but it will be dependent on the geography, city, location within the city. The market is really matured now. So even if you look at Mumbai or NCR, it really depends on within that market which location one is developing. But overall, there will be no doubt increase in prices, and I'm hoping that it will not. It will be more at historical levels, and it will not exponential increases.
Okay, let's quickly talk about commercial and whether or not what we've witnessed over the course of 2020-21 is carrying through in 2022, because anecdotal evidence suggests that a lot of people are moving back to the workforce or moving back to the workplace. Is that changing the nature of demand for commercial, and is the flexi model sort of dwindling? Do you think that will dwindle?
In fact, to the contrary, the flexi model is actually increasing. And I would say one is flexi, the other is what we call the managed office space, which is in simple language means fitted out office space. So one, yes, there are people coming back to work. We are seeing revival in office demand. However, the reason why flexi space is here to stay, or co-working is here to stay, and even managed office are here to stay, it provides, it reduces your capex cost, upfront capex cost. It gives you, of course, flexibility because of COVID uncertainty. A lot of companies didn't know or were not willing to take decisions. So it sort of gives you interim relief that you can take up a flexi space and then decide when things settle down that what should your overall strategy be. But so that is, COVID has really accelerated both co-working, I would say post-COVID, co-working and managed office space, fitted office space demand. But yes, coming back to people coming back to office will certainly expand demand for office space.
Okay, and you've anticipated that particular sectors, for example, the IT sector is going to really, proved to be quite a bit of a boom for real estate in the commercial space. I want to also ask you about REITs because this is an avenue of investment that people have considered in the past. But we've got three listed REITs here in India. How do you see this space developing in the near to medium term in 2022? Do you anticipate big changes here?
I don't anticipate big changes, but what I anticipate is there will be a couple of more office REITs coming in. And interestingly, I do expect this year there will be a REIT on the retail front, and eventually, as the market evolves, there will be a REIT on the logistics side also. So this is the market. I would say still at a nascent stage, although we have three REITs already. It's going to expand. There will be more players. This is the three REITs already being here will encourage more institutions or developers to go into REIT, and it will also develop like other countries, like I mentioned, both in retail and in industrial. We will see REITs coming in.
All right, Anshuman, thank you so much for taking the time. Pleasure speaking with you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.